Greetings from South Korea. I am Arirang News AI anchor. Here is the news-making headlines today. President Lee Jae-myung delivered a special statement to mark the first anniversary of the martial law declaration by former President Yoon Suk-yeol. Addressing the nation on Wednesday, he proposed designating December 3rd as a day of people's sovereignty, an official public holiday, and added that the people who defended democracy fully deserved the Nobel Peace Prize. Later in the day, he held a press conference with the foreign media, where he took various questions on K-democracy, as well as Korea's relationship with the US, China, and Japan. South Korea has approved its first defense budget under the Lee Jae-myung administration, featuring the sharpest increase in 5 years as Seoul moves to bolster its self-defense capabilities. The Ministry of National Defense on Wednesday announced an approved budget of 65.8 trillion won, or roughly $44.8 billion. This marks the largest increase since 2019. The expanded budget will support South Korea's autonomous defense capabilities, centered on the so-called three-axis system, the country's framework for countering North Korea's nuclear and missile threats. Funding for these programs will rise from about $5 billion to roughly $6 billion. Additional investments include AI-based defense solutions, mass production of the KF-21 fighter jet, and upgrades to other strategic assets. Defense R&D will climb to $4 billion, up 20%, with new funding for a Defense Space Certification Center and enhanced satellite capabilities. According to Bank of Korea on Wednesday, South Korea recorded its strongest on-quarter GDP growth in 3 years and 9 months in the third quarter, with a 1.3% increase. The figure is the highest since the fourth quarter of 2021, when the country's GDP rose by 1.6%. It was also a jump compared to a previous estimate of 1.2%, thanks to stronger-than-expected domestic demand and net exports. The Bank of Korea said that if fourth-quarter GDP stays above zero growth from the third quarter, achieving an annual growth rate of 1.1%, which is higher than the original 1% projection, is still plausible. In other news, the U.S. Commerce Secretary says part of South Korea's committed investment under the bilateral tariff deal will be directed toward building nuclear power plants in the United States. Speaking at a cabinet meeting on Tuesday, Howard Lutnick indicated that a portion of the $750 billion pledged by Japan and South Korea would be directed toward U.S. nuclear power projects. He added that the U.S. needs a nuclear arsenal of generation of power. A senior South Korean diplomat has urged the United States to ensure that the mass detention of Korean workers is never repeated. He made the remarks during a visit to the U.S. state of Georgia, where more than 300 Korean workers were arrested at a Hyundai LG battery plant in September. On Tuesday local time, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution released an interview with Lee Sung-hwan, Director General for Foreign Strategy and Planning at Seoul's Foreign Ministry. Lee said he hopes the mass detention incident will remain in the past, calling for preventive measures and safeguards to ensure a safe working environment. He stressed that Korean workers are not seeking to take U.S. jobs or immigrate, but should be treated as valuable contributors who support American firms and help build U.S. capacity amid Washington's competition with China. That is all from me today. Thank you for watching.